Hello, everybody. Here we are, 1.7, applying the Pythagorean theorem. So we've done a bit of work with the Pythagorean theorem. We used it to figure out whether triangles were right triangles or not, and now we're using it to solve some word problems. And here's, my general advice for solving word problems is to read it once, read it again, and draw a picture if there's no picture already provided. So let's do that. Jovi is laying a foundation for a garage with dimensions 10 meters by 6 meters. To check that the foundation is square, so it has a 90-degree corner, Jovi measures a diagonal. How long should the diagonal be? Give your answer to one decimal place. So Jovi is laying a foundation for a garage with dimensions 10 by 6 and wants to know that it's square, so he measures a diagonal. So we have a garage. It is 6 meters by 10 meters. And to figure out if this is it's going to be a square like this, he measures this diagonal. And how far does this diagonal need to be to make sure that this is a square right there? Okay, so let's see. This means we're solving for a hypotenuse. So we have 6 squared plus 10 squared equals c squared. We don't know. You could use c, you could use h. Either is going to be fine. So let's go 6 squared. So 6 times 6 is 36 plus 10 squared. 10 times 10 is 100. That's going to equal c squared. We still don't know what that is. Next, let's add up our two squares. So 36 plus 100 is 136 equals c squared. Our second to last step, to get rid of this squared, we need to take the square root of each. And remember, that's going to kind of cancel that out, and we'll be left with c equals the square root of 136. 11.66. I'm going to round it to one decimal place, I think it says. So 11.7. 11.7 meters. Our actual final step, let's ask ourselves, does this make sense? And I think it does make sense. 11.7 meters, it's longer than 10. It's longer than 6. So I think that does make sense. I'd be confident to say that's how long the diagonal should be. Okay, let's do the next one. A guy wire. It's a bit of a lot of things about vocabulary questions or word questions. It requires you to know what some things are. A guy wire is usually a wire that secures something to the ground, from a tower. So it's like a kind of, securing wire. It's 14 meters long. It's attached to a TV tower that's 12 meters high. The guy wire is fastened to a stake in the ground. This is like usually like a metal pole, could be a wood pole into the ground. How far is the stake from the base of the TV tower? Give your answer to one decimal place. So a guy wire is 14 meters long. It's attached to a TV tower that's 12 meters high. So let's draw that first. I think that's the easiest to draw. So we have a TV tower that's 12 meters high. So you can draw it better if you want. You can actually draw a TV tower if you're good at drawing stuff. It is fastened to a stake on the ground. And how far is it from the base? So it seems like our guy wire is going to look like this, attached with the stake right there. And this is the part on the ground. This is our question mark. So we want to know how far is the wire from the base of our tower. So our tower is like this. I don't know, maybe I could draw a better tower. Maybe it's going to look something like this, those TV towers, something like that. So our wire is 14 meters long. We want to know how far is the stake from the base of the TV tower. So we're solving for a leg. So we can go, remember, if we're solving for a leg, we can use c squared minus b squared equals a squared. So let's go 14 squared minus our b is going to be 12 squared equals a squared. That's our we don't know. Let's do 14 squared. Is that 196? Yeah. 196 minus 12 squared. 12 times 12 is 144. That's going to give us a squared. Let's do 196 minus 144. That equals 52. Equals a squared. So 52 equals a squared. Our second to last step is going to be to find the square root, because we want a to be by itself. So it's currently being squared. We want to get rid of that. Oops, so then that kind of cancels that out. We're left with a is going to equal the square root of 52. So a equals, let's go, 52 square root, 7.2. 7.2 would be meters. Our final actual last step, ask ourselves, does this make sense? Yeah, I would say that it does. Okay, 7.2 meters. It's shorter than the hypotenuse, and it's kind of with a reasonable amount, so I would say that that makes sense. Okay, let's do the next one. Petra is building a frame for her window. Okay, the frame is 88 centimeters wide and 105 centimeters tall. Okay, she measures the diagonal of her frame and finds that it is 137 centimeters. Is the frame a rectangle? Justify your answer. So this is kind of like our questions we just did. You know, it's asking, is this a Pythagorean triple? So don't need to write this down. Does a squared plus b squared equal c squared? And if it does, then she's made a good frame for her window. If it doesn't, she's back to the drawing board. So does 88, let me draw a picture first. So she's building a frame for her window. It's 105 centimeters tall. It's 88 centimeters wide, and the diagonal is 137 centimeters. Okay, I knew that that was going to be our potential hypotenuse because it's the biggest. So now let's see. Does 88 squared plus 105 squared equal 137 squared? So let's see. 88 squared, we're going to have a bunch of big numbers here. 7744 plus 105 squared, 11,025. Does that equal, let's do 137 squared, 18,769. Okay, let's see. I just put a nice box around this so you can actually see it. Okay, now let's add them up. So let's go 7744 plus 1125. Oops. 7744 plus 11025 equals 18,769. So indeed, those are equal. So 18,769 does equal 18,769. So ka-ching, ka-ching. They are a Pythagorean triple, and her window is square. That's great. Let's do two more. A sloped mountain road is 13 kilometers long. Okay. Sloped could be a hint that this is going to be our hypotenuse. It's going to be on an angle. It covers a horizontal distance of 9 kilometers. Okay, so we've got a mountain here. There's a sloped road, something like that. And it covers a horizontal distance here, the horizon. Remember, think about a horizon is like, you know, you see the sunset over the horizon, horizontal. Vertical, I don't know. I always think about those videos of how high people can jump. So horizontal maybe is the easier one to remember because you can think about the horizon and the sun coming up. But it covers a horizontal distance of 9 kilometers, and we want to know what is the elevation change in the road. So we are looking at this one right here. This is our question mark. How high, what's the elevation change? And we know this to be 13 kilometers. So we're solving for a leg. I find it helps to draw it, figure out if you're solving for a hypotenuse or a leg. So we're going to be using c squared minus a squared equals b squared. So 13 squared minus 9 squared equals b squared. Let's figure 13 squared is 13 times 13 is 169 minus 9 squared. 9 times 9 is 81. That equals b squared. Next, let's figure this out. 169 minus 81 equals 88. So 88 equals b squared. Second to last step, it's not one of our celebrity numbers, so we know it's going to be a decimal. We're going to take the square root to get rid of that squared with our b. And what we're left with is that b is going to equal the square root of 88. So square root, I'm going to round it up, 9.4. 9.4, and it's kilometers, km. Last step, does that make sense? Yeah, I would say that it does. It's shorter than our hypotenuse. Seems like it would make sense. So I think that's a pretty good answer. Let's do our last one. Let's be heroes. We can, we got a cat stranded in a tree. Oh no! If you lean a 10-meter ladder against, a tree, it's 2 meters from the base of the tree. How far up the tree does the ladder reach? Okay, so we've got a nice tree here. Wow, incredibly drawn tree. We have a little, a nice cat up there that needs our help. And we have a ladder that's leaned up against the tree like this. It's not a very leaned up against the tree like this. And it's 2 meters from the base of the tree. So 2 meters away from there. And we know that the ladder is 10 meters long. They want to know how far up the tree does the ladder reach. So what is the height is what we're looking for. So that's our question mark, is how far up the tree does it go? That's our question mark. So again, we're solving for a leg. So we can go 10 squared, that's our hypotenuse, minus 2 squared equals b squared. Next, 10 times 10 is 100, minus 2 times 2 is 4. That's going to equal b squared. Now 100 minus 4 is 96. That equals b squared. It's not one of our celebrity numbers, so I know it's going to be a decimal. We need to take our second to last step and square root each. We want to do that, as you'll recall, because we want b to be on its own. So we need to get rid of that squared. And because our inverse operations cancel each other out, that's how we can get to just b by itself. So b is going to equal the square root of 96, which is 9.8. 9.8 meters. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's less than it's less than the length of our ladder. It's not that much less because you don't really want the ladder like super far from the base of the tree or else it wouldn't be stable. So there you go. Read the question, have another read over it, draw a beautiful picture like I have, and I'll tell you what textbook questions I want you to do.